Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Series 3, Episode 37 of NDISCO'S Village Meeting Podcast. I warmly welcome you from wherever you are watching or listening. How was that day? I hope you all are doing great. I am. The World Cup is on. Life is good as you make it. Life will always be good from within your own mind, from the depth of your own heart. You have always heard it said, nobody else makes you happy but yourself. So for our day-to-day living, that's what we embark on. So I thank you, most of you that have been, subscribing. I always mix those terms. Subscribing, not prescribing, to my podcast. Followers now are coming in, and I appreciate that. This is also when I ask everybody to share, please, to the young, to the old, anyone out there. There are always topics that will benefit people of all ages, of all races, religion, and you name it. So I appreciate all that you do, and I appreciate your attention and your being able to be with me. So today we go into another topic. In episode 36, we talked a little bit about meditation and how a wonderful person in the World Cup, Holland, has shared with us, and continues to share with us the essence of meditation, and we're seeing it manifest in what he brings to soccer and the World Cup. So today we go, a little bit further from there. Let's talk about a topic that some of us experience every day, but we don't understand what it is that is happening to us. Hopefully, at the end of today, you will have an idea of some things that may be happening, but you didn't put your finger on the pulse, and you wonder why is what is happening without understanding what it is. So let's get into it. So we are going into this topic. I don't know how many of you have heard imposter syndrome. I've heard it, but I didn't get deep into it till it was mentioned in one setting not too long ago. And also by the questions, that come to me, a lot of that from the young ones. The young adults, both male, female, different ages, when they express or they share what they're going through or what is happening to them, questions that they bring, the directions that they seek, I begin to understand that some of them may have to do with this syndrome without it actually having, this, I call it baptismal name that is stamped on it. So, without much ado, let's dig in and find out what is it? What is this imposter syndrome? Why does it happen? Because we actually find out actually what it is. Why does it happen? And do you think you suffer from this syndrome without knowing it? And if we do, we find out maybe some aspects of it or all that. How do we overcome it? Please, the disclaimer that I always add is that I am I don't know everything. I know little, try to know little of many things, not everything. But most importantly, I'm not a physician. I may be science-based and art-based and every based, but I do not diagnose diseases. So this I am looking at from an academic point, not from a medical point, so that everybody knows that I'm not diagnosing anybody with anything, but I am asking a general question, creating an awareness. Like I ask myself if I don't understand anything is what is this? What should it be? What is it not? So if you can rule out, in most cases, some things that are not what something is, then you begin to get closer to what it is. And sometimes you find out what it is without even getting into what it's not. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Um, so let's get into that. Imposter syndrome. Okay. So when we hear the word imposter and then add the syndrome added to it, imposter syndrome, many schools of thought, again, this is what I do. I collectively, because um, I collectively put together ideas that are shared by schools of thought. That's what I was going to say. Because I know a lot of you young ones are busy. You cannot, again, we still have this um, the superhighway, information superhighway, that there are so many information being thrown at us. So that sometimes it's hard to know which one is which one is fact, which is fiction, and to just be able to give the concentrated points, bullet points of boom, boom, boom. This is what it is, and this is what it's not. So this is what I try to do. And because I get some of these questions directly to me, I try to share it to all those other, especially the younger ones who may not reach me, or, and also to avoid repeating myself to several of them. That's why this is. So, imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern of self-doubt where, someone would feel like an imposter in their own skin. Okay. Again, let's say that again. You're feeling that, when we say out of body experience, you are you, but you have this feeling that you are not being you. Okay. Um, you are imposing somebody else in your body. Okay. Um, and when that happens, you feel you are not you. You also feel that you're not getting to be who you think you could be. Okay. You're not, advancing to your full potential or potentials because you feel you are not yourself. So as if somebody else is imposing something else in you when you know within your own self that you could be better, you could be something else, you could be somebody else and all that. So when you dig deep into that, you find that people in such imposter syndrome, such position, often find themselves trapped in a repetitive loop. They're like the dog chasing its tail, round and round and round, when facing either a new task, a new challenge, something new in their lives. Even if they get a new job or they are given a new thing to do at work or at home, they are faced with something they have not faced before by themselves. They really get razzled. Um, and this is part of that imposter syndrome going on. Um, it is a cycle. It's a cycle. It has a trigger. This imposter syndrome, when somebody is assigned something new, they don't get, they get frazzled. That's a trigger. They also get it by reaction. Okay. They react to stuff that is coming at them um, with intense procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I plan to do it. I plan to do it. Am I going to do it? I'm going to, but it never gets done. Or on the other hand, um, they also can have over preparation, intensive because they have this fear in them. It's like you got to be in that position. You got to have lived this, or you are living it now without knowing it. No, no, I didn't prepare enough. Something task that is simple enough that anybody could do within. They could take hours on end to overkill something that they need to do, preparing for it. It could come in the form of outcome. So we have seen that it could come in the out of a trigger, something new. It could come as a reaction to something, that is being assigned, or as an outcome. This is where you have um, they some people achieve success, and they are wondering, is that me? you know, they are like, I'm not sure I really um, achieved this. So their success is not even fulfilling to them, you know. Um, when they complete a task or something, they are still waiting for the other foot to drop. They're not convinced they are there yet. That happens. And then the last part of that is the belief. That's another aspect of this cycle of imposter syndrome. Now, they have achieved something. There is a successful end to this task or to this challenge, but they still feel that did I do that? I didn't get that. It's luck. They attribute their success to luck. Or, I worked so hard because of over preparation or that. They forget that this success may have come by or come about by their own competence, the skills they have, the ability they have, their competence of competency level of doing stuff. They don't attribute that to that. I'm just lucky this time around. So these are all going on in the mind of somebody who is going through imposter syndrome. So why does this happen? It doesn't happen to everybody. So why does it happen to some? You know, um, the bodies of thought think there are about five or more reasons why this happened, and I focus on five that I think majority of them uh, that's an agreement that they came together. Number one is high achievement pressure. This normally comes from our families, our upbringing, our personalities, our traits that we carry, the environment we live in. Okay. So if you come from a family who, and when I said that, Nigerian parents or African parents come to mind, Chinese parents come to mind. You must be this, you must be that, you're gonna. So any other thing that you achieve or you're gonna, it's not enough. You still live in that imposter syndrome. It's like, no, that's not enough. You want to fulfill what your parents are talking about, your family members, not just your parents. Everybody has this their high level of pressure. You're gonna get a job, get married, get this, do that, buy a car. Everybody else is doing that. You're not doing it. And that's pressure. Some people may not have even the pressure from their families. They have the pressure of their own trait, how their own DNA from their own personal. Everybody has their own personality traits. Either I've talked about the colors before, and the green, the blue, the yellow, and the red. the green being the peacemaker, the red being the uh, I am the director. I will do this. You guys do this. Throwing orders everywhere. The yellow being the carefree guy, or who does things when they add fun to whatever they do. And then you have the blue. It has to be A, B, C, D all lined up. So if you have such traits, and this is just the mild one. We have other Myers-Briggs and all that where people are at another level. Your personality trait could have you, putting yourself at an angle where you have to achieve a whole lot, and that pressure on you, it's on you. Some of them are caused by the environment you live in. Some environments you can be a slacker. You have to really pull your own boots by your own straps. So that is one. That is the high pressure achievement pressure. If everybody is achieving around you, what's holding you back? That's what the question there is asking. Then the number two is what they call the inconsistent praise. That is one of the aspects that helps or that provokes imposter syndrome. The inconsistent praises, you have two extremes actually. One is the harsh criticism that comes from people around you. Nothing is ever good. And, we always hear that, yeah, nobody is a tabula rasa. Nobody is an empty vessel. So somebody is good for something. So, but you have people who they dish out the harshest criticism, like you are a no good person, you're not never good for anything, which is wrong, which is not true. So when some people get that, and on the other side, you have people who they get extreme overpraise. And some mothers do that, which some of us in, part of the education is telling you, don't do that. When a child fails in something, let them know. When they're good at something, let them know. Don't just praise everything they do, even the wrong ones. That overpraise, also leads to that imposter syndrome. The third one they mentioned is what they call the smart sibling dynamics. This we all know what that is. And again, I'm citing Africa as those who really push that envelope in that direction. It's, see what your brother is doing. Your sister is achieving more. What are you doing? Despite the fact that you guys have different personalities, traits, you guys may have talents in another area than two different aspects of it. But everybody is asking you to be like Jane or Paul, the senior being like the junior being like this, everybody. And when you're not doing that, you are not successful. And which is, coming up as one of the things that they have found. It's one of the causes or one of the reasons why some of us have imposter syndrome. The next one, number 4, is the onlyness in quotation marks. The onlyness factor, only, the word only, ONLYNESS. Now, some of us have experienced this, and some of you do. When you are the only one, that could cause imposter syndrome. When you're the only one representing any place, say, for example, you are the only Black person in a sea of other colors, like some people say the dot, or when you're the only white dot in the sea of other colors that is not white. If you are the only person in a certain religion where others are all collectively in another. No, that's not mixed there. Just you are the only one next to the others. When you are at an age, either younger or older, in the midst of other people who are collectively closer to their other age. When you're the only female in a male-dominated aspect that we have experienced, or when you are the only male in a female-dominated arena. Okay. um, your socioeconomic background, we see that you are a poor child in a rich man's school, or you are a rich man in a poor man's school. There are so many of these, and some of us have experienced more than one. I remember doing my master's at a very highly prestigious university in the US, and I represented the continent. I mean, there are people from all over. I was the only, not only the color, but also the only one with a heavy accent from, and thank God for the upbringing of my upbringing. You know, my parents maybe did a good job of exposing us to all that. Um, and again, to your own personality trait, you ignore the noises. And you know, the question always on the back of my brain is, if you are here, why can't I be here? And not only that, experienced it in corporate America, where at a certain level, everybody's looking at you like, are you sure you belong here? You know, or at this level, and you play it down and you do what you got to do. Okay, so imagine somebody with imposter syndrome getting into such pickles, you know. Um, Again, it's not just race. If you find yourself also where you are a separate race from others, you are a separate gender from others, and you are also a separate age from others, and you put all this together, the loneliness factor becomes a burden that, if you're not careful, you sink. But if you choose to swim, that might help. So a lot of us have experienced that. I watch a lot of movies, Turkish movies to be precise, and most of you know that most of their themes culturally are based on, you know, somebody from a lower class getting hooked up with somebody higher, the upper class, and hiding the identity and all that. Eventually, somebody finds out, and you see the maltreatment, the class treatment going on. That's the socioeconomic, the onlyness factor comes to play. And that's not normally palatable to a lot of people who go through that. And last but not the least, the fifth one of why many get into or become victims of imposter syndrome is social media hype. This is where we have to look at for the younger ones, not to get into um, imposter syndrome from the look of life out there, especially with what is going on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. There's a whole lot of hype going on. And if care is not taken, if you are not strong enough from the beginning, you could get derailed by what you see because there's a lot of fraudulent show. I don't know if that's a good word to use, but people not being who or what they are showing you out there. Um, when they can eat 3 square meals a day, they are showing off. When they borrowed some outfits from others, they are showing off. Standing beside somebody else's expensive car, they are showing off. Even some people go use other people's picture to show that this is who they are, where that's not. So social media hype is sending some into um, not being confident in themselves, saying that they're not like A or B, and some people even friendship, relationships, marriages, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever it is out there, is being hyped also by some people who they show off, but then within you will know that no, um, that's not what it is. And some people are private and they don't want to show anything and everything. Some people assume what they want to assume and make up stories the way they want to make up. So a whole lot of this. So these are the 5 items that they are saying that is why such happens. You know, some people succumb to imposter syndrome. There are 5 types of those syndromes. Not everybody, um, everybody's not doesn't experience imposter syndrome alike, the same way. So the 5 aspect is number one, they have the perfectionist. So if you find yourself in that, um, those are the people who set themselves in impossible high standards. They feel like a failure if they don't achieve 100%. So imagine putting yourself, think about it. Let it sink for a minute. You give yourself a task, or you put yourself in a medium where if you don't achieve 100%, you failed. That's impossible. I mean, sometimes we 99.999%, because I don't believe in absolute. But those are the perfectionists. That's where they fall in. And because they do not accept themselves that they could, be a little bit less than that, they succumb to imposter syndrome. Number two, the expert. This is the person who feels inadequate if they do not know everything about a process or task. They details, details to details. They want to know. I mean, so for example, if they want to learn to make a cup of coffee, it's not, they can't even, this type of people, you can, imagine them eyeballing the amount of water to get into the kettle or the cup. It has to be precise, whatever it is. Um, they need to know everything. How much water, what is the temperature that you have to have it, how much milk, sugar, whatever it is that you put in there. Should the cup be white or black? What angle should you put your spoon that you are turning? They need every details. And if they don't get that about the process of making that coffee, for example, or the task you are giving them to make, that's when they start rattling. And some of us who have managed others, you will encounter some people like that. Those are the ones who come with questions upon questions. Questions are great, but there are some that we call, yeah, well, let me take that back, because we always say there are no stupid questions out there, but we all know that there could be. So that's that one. The third one is what they call the natural genius. So this type of imposter syndrome victim believes in the mastery of new skills instantly. Okay, they want to learn something new. They want to learn in the blink of an eye, no matter how long that takes to achieve. Uh, because if they don't do that, they feel ashamed if they struggle to learn this thing. If they say, okay, we'll learn it in a day, and somebody has mentioned maybe at the corner that, oh, it's easy to learn I learn mine within 10 minutes, and the other one will say, I learned mine within one day. This is a victim of imposter syndrome who will want to do it less than the least person that did it. And to show it's in within themselves that they want to achieve that. That's the only way they will feel that they have achieved what they have set out to do. It doesn't have to do with anybody else. It's just them battling themselves. Okay? No matter what you say to them, no matter what anybody says to them, they believe in what they believe. And unless that is achieved, they feel that they haven't done what they're supposed to do. The number 4 is the soloist. And like the name sounds, they believe in achieving their success all on their own. No help. They will never ask for help. Okay. They find asking for help as a sign of weakness. So you see those people and no, no, I can do it. I can do it. No, but you're doing it wrong. This, can I show you? No, 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 I can do it. That's a long way. Can I show you how to do it quicker? No, 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 I can do it. They want to do stuff, but you leave them alone, provided they achieve what they want to achieve. It could take forever to get there, but they get there one way or the other. But we are seeing that it's a sign of imposter syndrome, without them knowing it, because that's part of them achieving. It's not that they don't like working with people. And when you manage people, that's what I'm saying. That's you need to understand some of these. They happen. They are real. Okay, so the soloist doesn't want to really work with anybody because they feel that, okay, if they want with people, they didn't achieve for that. They want to do it, just give me what I want, I can do by myself. And they want to do that without asking for help. And these are the people, when you ask them, do you have any question? Do you need help? I can ask them. And they say, no, I can do it, because that's how they get their own fulfillment. And last but not the least on that, the subtypes of imposter syndrome is the super person. The super person, they push themselves to work really hard, okay? Harder than anybody else. They never go home. They are still at their desks when everybody has packed to go. They don't take lunch. They take the bites at their desks. Even at home, they will continue to do stuff when everybody is done and gone. Um, they want to prove themselves. They want to prove a point to themselves, not to anybody else. So we need to realize that all these that they're doing are not to anybody. It's inbuilt in them. It's just themselves fighting themselves. So that's what the imposture syndrome does to people. So the question is then, how do we overcome this state that we're in? How do we overcome imposter syndrome? The first thing, like those who are consumed by addiction and all that, will always tell you, you have to acknowledge that you are addicted for you to be able to even be cured. And it's a personal thing, because this is one of those. So one of the things that the first and foremost that majority of those schools of thoughts agree on is what? Acknowledge the thoughts. Acknowledge that you have this problem called imposter syndrome. Acknowledge that all the five subtypes that we mentioned, one of them could be you, or you could be battling with two or more of those types, as shared or described. Okay. And acknowledge that there are reasons why they happen to you. It could be one reason or more. Okay. If when you identify those, and you could acknowledge the um, uh, the description or definition of what it is, so that you don't bank on what is not. It is psychological. Something triggered. So we have the triggers. We have all that. So what happened? Why does it happen that way? Are you having your own imposter syndrome by reaction, by the triggers that come, by the outcomes you get, or by your belief? So you got to know all this. When you have known those and acknowledged that, yes, you are a victim of this syndrome, you now get to the next level of separating your feelings from the facts. Again, let me say that again. Separate your feeling, what you feel, from what is happening actually. Yeah? Feeling of inadequacy may not be a reflection of your actual skills or your worth, if you can get that. What may be happening to you by way of what your thoughts are, what you're feeling, may be different from. So you could be a very skilled person. You could be worth more than anybody ever thought. But because you have put yourself in this cocoon of, no, I can't achieve, I haven't achieved, all those stuff that we talked about. Unless you put the two aside, separate one from the other in order to go to the next step of healing, it may not never go away. And the next thing, the third step is to talk about it. Talk about it, voice it out. This is what is happening to me. I'm not being myself. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, sometimes other people on the side could tell you who they think you are. Have you encountered that? They are telling you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. But you know who you are. But it takes some knowing you to know that this feeling of inadequacy is not, I have all these skills, I have all this. So why is my mind telling me that I am not capable of? No, I can. I can walk to that office and knock on that door and ask for stuff. My father, when he was alive, God rest his soul, will always tell us, says, ask your question. Yeah, three answers that could come from that: a yes, a no, or a maybe. But guess what? If you don't ask your questions, that's what will eat you up for a long time because you missed a window of opportunity and you don't get so much opportunities all the time. So don't miss the ones you have. And when it comes to imposter syndrome, this is what we're saying about talk it through talk it out. What is fact? What is not real? What is something that my feeling because somebody else said that to me, or because that's my DNA, or because the environment put that in me? See, when I talk to some of these kids who um, they were confident, they had all that till the environment tells them you are less than who you should be or who you portray. This is the time you go back into yourself. I said, no, no, no. I may not have A, B, C, D that you think you have, but hey, can you imagine now that through the confidence, again, I'm thinking what is going on in before our eyes, the World Cup, the tournaments, how other cultures come into Mexico, US, and Canada, the three hosts, and exhibit their own culture, mingle with people in rural towns, small towns where they have never seen anything like that before. And on the other hand, those they came to embracing what they are seeing, even the naysayers who say everybody else is smaller than they are, even those from very remote countries that, they may never ever go or visit, they are saying that there's life outside of their own areas or regions that also have fun. So this is where we talk about all this. When you voice what you're feeling as against what you really are, the insecurities that you think are fighting your skills or your worth, this is when you talk to somebody else, mentors. This is why I listen. Not that I have all the time in the world. I listen to these young ones, become their mentees, their proteges, and all that. Not because I have all the answers, but because somebody can listen to them separate. You always hear me say I never give them answers. I ask them questions, and the aha moment, the bulb goes off, like, they already have it in them. They only need somebody to turn on that light and say, hey, you got it. And a lot of them, almost 100% of them, they have it. Either they know, yeah, it works or it doesn't work, or you have it or you don't have it. By your answers coming from you. So the third aspect of that is to talk to somebody after you acknowledge that and some of them do that, they acknowledge that they need help. Then they separate, what they come to you is to separate their feelings from their worth And when they talk to you, they are sharing with you what they think they possess and what they don't have. And sometimes they don't even know till you pull it out of them. They could talk to a trusted friend. They could talk to their peers. Some of their peers are really, tuned into helping each other. And with that, the help comes. The last step there is to document your wins. I can't say it enough, guys. Everybody wins in something. Everybody wins in something. You are good in something. Nobody is a a white white or black plate with nothing written on it. So you come with your own gift, share your own gift. Yeah, there are people who will try to poo-poo it, but hey, this is where I tell you, ignore the side noise and focus. Okay, that's again where mindfulness, um, contemplation, physical and mental aspects can help you in the meditation, arena to know who you are, get to yourself, get into that Zen moment, and write down. These are my achievements. These are the things I can do. These are the things that I cannot do. And if there are things that are really impossible, although I don't think anything is impossible, um, you go that way and do the best you can. And so that is what this is all about. The imposter syndrome is real. We know that it happens and how it happens. We also understand that it can be overcome one way or the other. And we also need to remind those who help, saddle others with this imposter syndrome, need to really realize what they're doing. So when you overpraise or apply harsh criticism, you are not doing good to humanity. When, as a parent, you also compare one of your children with the other, or a brother to a sister or something, you are not really helping humanity. When you, as a family member, you are putting people down instead of encouraging them with facts, then you are helping. And as a human being, yourself, the victim of the imposter syndrome, when you look at, especially when you write down your wins and you find out that, hey, I am not that bad after all. Seize the day. Build from there and prove everybody wrong. There is always this caption that says, first they will ask why you are building it. And then after some time, they know that, oh, this person is going forward doing this. Then they come to ask you, how are you building it? Because they may want to learn. It's life. And that is humanity. That's human. That's how most of us think. And don't let anybody put that in your head. Don't be proud. It's not pride, actually. Pride comes when you think you have it all, you know it all. No, that will actually break you. But when you can ask for help if you are stuck, when you run with what you have, provided you have asked the right questions and having enough information to really step into it, that's where your journey begins. And no man is an island. Nobody, even the animals, when they are itching, they go to the tree to scratch their backs. So, but we humans, we can talk to each other. And those young ones out there, most of these things I'd say is because of you. Don't ever think you're alone. You have, some adults, grown-ups, there are others that can help you. Your teachers, your peers, your priests, your other mothers, other fathers. It still takes a village to raise a child. And so if you are part of a village, everybody there will help build. Sometimes I even ask the younger ones questions about what I'm doing because nowadays they have tons of skills and knowledge that we never had the opportunity to have, especially with computers, technology, and all that. Nowadays is the AI stuff. I'm never ashamed to like and listen. Actually, when they correct my son will always say, Mom, that's not how we pronounce that. Mom, that's not it. I always credit my son to like pushing me to get my stuff into YouTube. And now I have a channel that really it's growing. And I thank him for that. So you listen to the small ones, you listen to the big ones, you listen to everybody in between. And at the end, um, we may get rid of this imposture syndrome. And it doesn't just end there. When we talk about race, you see some young people who are very, very smart. And because they are intimidated or something in their past or they have seen, it's blocking them, stopping them from really, giving the going to full throttle. They're like, if A didn't succeed there, why would I think I will succeed? No, everybody has their own thing. Some of us we venture whether if we can. Um, when I look at again, I give my daddy credit. It's like you're gonna say yes, no, or maybe, but I've thrown my question out there or my comment out there, and but you got to be humble about it. You got not to be rude about it, but open your mind. So don't be an imposter. Don't be a victim, sorry, of an imposter syndrome because um, in today's life and global village, you cannot rest there. Okay? And having said that, I say thank you so much for listening and for being with me. Again, in the next episode, we'll find another fun topic to share and to discuss. And remember, sometimes I talk to people about this and then I make a lot of background research consulting stuff before I bring you the summary. On that note, please subscribe. It's free, okay? It's free. But we need your feedback. And a lot of you do that. I thank you. But share. Could you share this as much as you can, please? I appreciate that. Thank you all. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And I wish you the best of the weekend. Thank you.